Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with MM. This is Marilia Monton. I'm not in New York. I am in Port Lee, New Jersey. And with me is a very amazing person I just met a few weeks ago. He is a collector of vintage movie posters. His name is Konstantino.
The last name is a Greek name. It's
Is
not
it
easy. Spanuodis. Yes.
Spanuodis. Spanuodis. I'll say it again.
That's okay.
Our guest is Mr. Konstantino Spanoudis, and he is an amazing contributor to arts and culture. And for your information, Fort Lee is the cradle of American films, long before Hollywood. And in this, what you call this, storage place, is
My gallery.
Is your gallery
Yes.
a collection of the classic posters. So thank you for your time with me. Konstantino.
Very happy to share with you.
I know it's amazing. It's like walking through history, through the arts,
At least through film history.
through film history, right? So when did you start doing this?
Started
Collecting.
back, I think it was very late 80s. Just got attracted. Actually, the first poster that I saw, I didn't even know what it was. It was an old cowboy poster. But growing up as a little kid, I saw the big hat, bandana, the gun, the colors. It was a poster out of the 40s, and I thought it was wow, it's amazing. It's a great poster. Loved it, and it just caught my interest. And I said, maybe this is something I'd like to put up in my I live at home and in my room. And that was it. It just one got started, and then I said, that second one next to it would look really good too. And then that's when I got caught up in it, and I realized the place that I got it from in New York, this guy had a lot of posters. So I went through through all his stuff, and a lot of it I wasn't interested in at the time.
How old are you then?
I think I wasn't even 30 years old. It was something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So were you even interested with movies before? Did you even think of being an actor? That's why you like all this.
Yeah, well, maybe I tried being an actor for one afternoon, but it wasn't for me. Yeah, that's it. Acting it's an art. When you actually try to become an actor, and you get in front of a camera, and then you see what you look like when you're acting, you realize it's not as easy as it looks.
Right. Oh.
I always like to say it's you see the guys hit a home run in Yankee Stadium, and you say maybe I could, and then you get up there and you realize you can't.
You look at yourself. And
Well, the great guys make it look good, make it easy. So
right.
yeah, so acting is it's very tough. I could not turn it on and off.
Okay, so you're stuck with collecting.
I do the second best thing. Yeah, exactly. I collect the great images, the posters.
So where do you get all this wonderful collection?
Over the years, it's through a variety of places. Sometimes you get it from other collectors, but really, before the internet, you used to hear about a little auction going up in Vermont or in upstate New York.
So how do you know?
There was a magazine called Antique and Traders Weekly. It was basically a newspaper type of thing, and you flipped it open, and they had it was like grandma's pack. But there was all these little businesses that held auctions, and once in a while, you ran through. You always saw there was little dishes and plates and this and that and all. But you used to always little statues, whatever it may be. But I used to look through it and see if they had movie posters listed. And then you call up, and again, this is before the internet, before iPhones and all, so you try to get a description of the movie poster. If it's an old one, a new one, what's the title, what's it look like? So there was a lot of times that I would take a drive up to Rochester, New York, thinking that it might be a great auction, and it turned out to be nothing. But you
how
have
much is it? I mean, how much does it cost to buy it at that time?
Usually those little auctions, they went cheap. Unless there was somebody else there that knew what was there and they bid up, so you paid the price. Otherwise, a lot of those auctions, you come away for $100 or something like that.
So you use your savings to collect all this?
Yes.
Wow.
You use your desire for the posters to collect, because you say, you know what, for $100, I'm not going to get another chance to buy that poster.
Did you even think of why did you want to have these posters? Do you want to sell them, or you just want to
I was attracted, yes, I was attracted to it. And also I believe in the future value of them. I think as an investment, they're an awesome investment. This is kind of like buying baseball cards in 1960 or 1970, before baseball cards became popular in the 80s and 90s. That you see today.
Did you even think that eventually this is going to be big and you're going to be great doing this, or
No.
you just do it because you love it?
Never had any idea. At the beginning, I just wanted 1, 2, 5, 10. Then you say, okay, let me get more, and then you just keep chasing and chasing.
Were you influenced by your parents or your friends?
No, I was influenced. I used to work for a man named Franco Rossellini, who was a movie producer.
Mm-hmm.
Those are his posters over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came up from the Rossellini family, like Roberto Rossellini.
Right, and there's a big actress, a good, beautiful actress.
Ingrid Bergman,
and
it was his aunt, and Isabella Rossellini is his cousin.
I would remember.
Yeah.
So you've seen them?
The family?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to work for them.
Oh my gosh, so interesting. Can we take a look?
Sure.
And show me your collection.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay, so where is the collection, the first poster that you got?
One of the first ones that I fell in love with was this particular one here, the Buck Jones.
Buck Jones?
Yeah, the Dawn Trail. Because if you come and look at it head on, I mean, look at the colors on the horse, on him. Just brilliant, just absolutely fantastic. This is what they call the stone lithography. I mean, the red, the colors, everything. And this poster is from 32.
Wow.
I believe it's there. So you can see, I just love the way that is. It's just.
Did this come out in the movies, or?
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, do we have the collection of this movie?
Does the movie still exist?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it, haven't seen it, and I watch and I scroll through Turner Classic Movies all the time. I've never seen. Now I know for a while there was a Western channel on the cable that had a lot of older Westerns. And I know there was 1 or 2 Buck Jones that I saw on there because he made a lot of films. What
year was this again?
1932, probably.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think this is 32. Yeah.
So do you remember where you bought that?
Yes, this came out of the place in New York, out of the guy that had a huge collection of these posters in New York. This is the one that got one of the ones, the early Westerns that got me to say. Well, and what I love about it is the size. I mean, you look at it and you say, okay, that's got to be real. Nobody would make a fake one that big.
Life size.
Right. I mean, it's just the size of it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I see here.
Well, this is a great
Elvis.
one. Yeah, we got Elvis,
Huge.
but it's a great image of him. I mean, as a guy, I love the image of him. You know, he's a
King
tough
Creole.
guy, ready to fight. Yeah, this is his first movie, King Creole.
Oh, where did you get this? Wow.
This I think I got off the internet because.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, people.
You just got this lately.
I don't know how long ago it was, but I know I got it. Yeah, well, when we say lately, probably because it's about 10 years ago that I got it. But considering I've been collecting for 35, 40 years, that's lately. Okay.
Correct. Now, this is interesting here. Like, what are these?
This is all Fort Lee that you see on the wall pinned. And these are, I have my ladies down on the bottom.
You mean you got this from Fort Lee?
No, this is films that were made in FortLee.
Okay. When we said that this is the cradle of film.
Correct. So these are all basically from 1912 to 1919, 1920, right around there.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, the American Biograph is probably even older. It's probably 1908. This one is basically a redone of a Unicorn bought out a lot of films that were done in Fort Lee and then released their own on
The Heart of a Peddler.
Correct. So you see the drama, the color in these posters. I mean, it's just this is what.
So does it start with a photograph and then they put color on it?
It does actually. There's a photograph, but the photograph is black and white. There was no color photographs back then. So then the artist had to imagine what are the colors that I'm going to put in here, or the artist would go and watch the film being made. So he had an idea. Oh, the lady's dress is red. It's not, it's not blue or it's not black. So that's how the artist would decide, figure out what to put on the poster.
So it's very tedious. How long do you know does it take to finish a poster like that?
Oh, that's a poster maker, and I have to imagine. Well, the thing is, because it's so tedious, there were not many made. So to say, I mean, the process of the stone lithography is each color has a different stone that they do the negative image on. They print and then print this out. So usually it had to be 5 or 6 different stones.
So these are original posters. They are not like remastered, or what do you call that?
Nothing remastered, nothing redone, nothing no anything.
No.
This is the poster.
Nothing remade.
Correct. This is the poster that was in front of the theater in 1916.
Wow.
That just somehow survived and didn't get destroyed and didn't get burned, didn't get thrown out. And we were just lucky that they managed to survive.
You are a gem collecting all this, because these are rare.
Yes, they are.
Materials.
Yeah, but that's what's fun, is about the chase, about getting this. I mean, to go to the mall and buy a poster doesn't mean anything, but to have an original, that's what's great about this.
So I see here the popular Shirley Temple. Yeah. Yeah. So this is also from Fort Lee?
No. This is only what's on the walls, pinned on the walls. Everything else is just the further extension of my collection. No, Shirley Temple was, this is from 1930. I'm looking down on the bottom. I see it, 1935.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but she was Hollywood. By then, Fort Lee wasn't doing anything. I mean, in the early 20s, all the movie industry moved out to Hollywood because they have the better weather and that kind of.
Yeah, so, maybe wider landscape too.
Well, yeah, they have more choice in that, but it was basically really the weather that drew it out.
I see. So, give us a little bit of what you know. How was Fort Lee as then the industry center? How did it happen?
That I'm not clear on how it happened, but I know basically the what attracted a lot of movie makers back then, because I guess maybe they didn't know about California. Everybody was on the East Coast, not many people were on the West Coast. But what made Fort Lee famous is the cliffs. So when you hear the word cliffhanger today, which is awfully used, that's Fort Lee Cliffs. It's the serials they used to film back then. So besides the film itself, they would to get you to go in every week, they would film a little 5-minute thing, and there's the woman hanging off the cliff, and it's like, oh, stop it, come in next week and see what happens.
Okay.
So that's why they say the serial cliffhangers. They would have 12 different episodes, so 12 weeks in a row you'd see the next one
interesting.
that comes in. And so again, the word cliffhangers belongs to Fort Lee. That's why it's called that, from our famous cliffs over there.
Oh, that's a great information.
Right.
Now tell us about this one.
Well, that's Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney is, they called it the man of 1,000 faces. He made a lot of silent films. I just love this because it's very surrealistic. You see the artwork on it. It's a French poster. The funny thing is, usually American posters are never signed. Here you have the artist actually signing the name. It's for a movie called The Unholy 3.
Is this like comedy or a thriller?
Actually, it was a bit of a comedy thing, but his face down there is what that's Lon Chaney's face. That's he's the one that did Phantom of the Opera. He did so many films back then. And again, being silent films, you didn't get typecast. You could be different people. His son, Lon Chaney Jr., is the original Wolfman that did the movie The Wolfman back in, was it 1940, 41, something like that.
Do you remember where you got this poster? MGM.
This I got in a New York State auction. I remember getting it. It's like there's so many of them I can't remember that many, but this one I do remember because of the size. And this I got, it was already back. It was already glued on this. So it's a good thing I have a pickup truck in my business. I could go and get it and bring it.
Amazing. And this is a beautiful poster.
Well,
Miss
this
Innocence.
is June Caprice. She's all over the wall here because this is all Fort Lee. Obviously, she did a lot of movies in Fort Lee. And yeah, and you see the beauty of her. And
So she's an actress based in Fort Lee.
Correct. Yeah, all these movies
Wow.
was her, and she made them in Fort Lee.
These are not silent movies?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they
Fort
are.
Lee was all silent. Yeah, you didn't get very few movies with talking was done in Fort Lee, and that really wasn't until the late 30s. They came back to Fort Lee and shot a few films, but there's very few. I only have one, and that's that one, The House of Secrets, right there. It's a 100% talking picture. That one was done Fort Lee. They came back here to do that one.
I see.
By that point in time, Hollywood had taken over the whole industry, you know,
So,
or Southern California, I should say.
so what happened to Fort Lee when Hollywood took over? Did you have like a economic slump?
Oh, I'm sure they did. All the studios were empty
Yeah.
for a long time. They were empty. I know there's stories about certain films coming back and being shot in Fort Lee in the 40s and in the 50s, but not a big industry the way it was. I mean, the studios were there. They were not being used. So, you know, I know for a fact they did a few films over here after
It's really amazing to know this, that it's Fort Lee is
that. Yeah, it's
precedes
so significant.
precedes Hollywood,
Sure.
right? This one is Doris May.
Yes.
Is she from Fort Lee too?
No, this is a silent picture. I'm sure because this is later in the 20s. Remember, the volume didn't come. I mean, the talking didn't come out until the late, I believe, 28, 29, somewhere around there. This is this is probably 1922. This is out of California. But when I saw this quote, I love the image. You know, this is what I want to say is, it's the image. You know, that's just great.
Right. Oh my
You know?
God. You don't see this like, so this is coming from a photograph and then done in another process.
I don't know if it was a photograph, but
Or is a painting.
I would guess, yeah, the artist just saw it and, you know, drew it up, and then the printers went in and they started doing the little stone lithography. You know, you can see all the blue is one. And then all the, you know, the green.
This one would be one layer, this one another
piece
layer.
Of stone, right, exactly, all different pieces of stone.
Oh my gosh. Now this kind of art is gone.
Funny you say that, because the movie Thelma and Louise, they did make some stone lithography for whatever reason. Somebody had that idea, and it was ridiculously expensive. There are very few made. I know a few other collectors that managed to get one or two of them, but they're not as brilliant in color as this. And when they tried making them just to bring back that look and that novelty of the posters, it didn't go very well.
I see.
I believe they lost a lot of money doing that.
Oh.
Because it is so expensive to do this.
Yeah, and it's no longer the, you know, the capability of people
Not when you have
anymore.
the machine, just print them out, you know,
no
all
more,
day long.
no
one
more
after the
skill
other.
for it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just fill the ink and let it print out like crazy. So instead of having to do it by hand you know, on the stone.
So I understand that some of your collections are at Barrymore Film Center. For an exhibit. I was there.
Yes, yes.
I was there.
The exhibit is over there. They selected a cross section of my collection just to attract everybody, not just Fort Lee. And apparently it's a very big hit. You know, I mean, it seems like you know, the grand opening was far more successful than we expected.
I love that.
Which is great.
It was an adventure.
Well, everybody walked in and everybody found something they identified with. Maybe the older crowd found something out of the 40s and 50s. Some other people found the novelty of the silent films. You know, obviously the beauty of the foreign posters is there. And you still have, I mean, everybody knows James Bond. There's some great Sean Connery, James Bond posters.
I would remember what's new to me was that Beauty and the Beast was there. And it's a very old version.
It is.
And it's in French.
Yes, it is. And I would strongly recommend to anybody who has the patience to sit down and watch that film in French.
So there is that film.
La Belle et la Bête. It's a phenomenal film.
I will take your word for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you watch it on Turner Classic Movies, whenever it's on, I DVR'd it and I saved it. because
Wow.
besides the poster is a fantastic poster.
Yeah, and
But
it's
the
so big.
Well, the movie itself is very surrealistic. So I almost can't find the adjectives to explain just how incredible that film is.
Now
But
you
have to sit down and see it. And I also love in the film what stood out in my mind, and then with that French accent and that voice, the beast, the way he just keeps saying the belle, the way he just says her name is fantastic. Absolutely.
Okay, that's really good. I would put that in my
guarantee you
my
will
assignment
sit and watch it. Yeah,
for myself.
it's difficult to watch because it's French and it's very surrealistic. So what I've done is,
but it's the same story
a couple of times.
The same story that we know.
You know what? That's the only version I've ever seen. So I don't know. I've never seen the Disney.
The new ones.
Yes.
No, I see.
I mean that's a fantastic movie.
Amazing.
Once you see that, then you realize why. What makes it so great.
Okay, that's good. Now here, this is 007, the very popular James Bond story.
James Bond, Dr. No.
Okay.
And this is a very rare size, and this is a little miracle that this survives because this 40 by 60 size. These posters are heavier stock, and they were meant to go for drive-in theaters. So basically, this was on the wood board outside in the elements with the rain, the snow, the sun.
But it survived.
So they get destroyed. The only reason this one particularly survived is because somebody took it down early, put it away.
Oh,
but you can still see that there's no such thing as mint on these things that are very clean.
Wow.
I mean, some of the later ones might be a little better condition. I think maybe some of the people just said, oh, you know what? This is the whole James Bond collection in a row.
Here we go, From Russia with Love.
Right.
This is like, I would remember my father, all James Bond movies he loves.
Right. Well, every guy does, yes.
And here is
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. Wow. So are these also being exhibited, or this is the only copy?
No.
Of the Barrymore.
No, they have a couple of other James Bond posters. Remember, he's done a lot. This is a whole franchise, the James Bond.
Yeah. So where did you get all these? From different places?
You chase them at auctions. You try to work with other dealers. When eBay came out, a lot of people put stuff on eBay that they didn't know what they had. So,
wow.
And if you're a James Bond collector, you buy it. I mean, some people say, oh, why do I want a poster of James Bond? And then other guys say, of course I want one.
Oh, wow. So this is Sean Connery. You only live twice.
Correct.
Have you seen this?
Sure. I've seen every James Bond movie.
Okay.
Well, certainly all the ones with Roger Moore and Sean Connery and some of the new ones.
Who's your favorite James Bond?
Oh, no. Everybody's favorite James Bond.
Yeah. Nobody is unbeatable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, cannot be compared.
No.
With anyone.
Well, this is the
Who
one.
Who is this one?
Well, this is in between. This is in chronological order. So at this point, Connery walked away, and they gave the job to George Lazenby.
He doesn't seem to be so popular.
Well, it's the only one he made.
I see.
It was a little goofy of a comedy. I shouldn't say comedy, but it was a little off. Because Connery was always very intense. You saw his face.
Yeah.
Lazenby did a nice job. But the entertaining thing about this movie, he actually gets married. James Bond is actually married for about a half hour before the wife dies.
Oh my God!
She gets killed, obviously, and as they.
That's interesting to watch.
Yeah, but yeah, James Bond was actually married for a half hour.
Thank you for that information.
Yeah, but
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's and this is the movie where he's married, where he gets married, and the rest of them it's just all girlfriends.
Oh my gosh, that's interesting. So this is Diamonds Are Forever.
Right after that, they brought Sean Connery back, so he did Diamonds Are Forever, and that was his last film until like later in the '80s. They went back and redid some, and it was like he would have been better off just leaving it alone. To the pure James Bond fans, this is it. This is where it stays.
So this is here, Roger Moore.
Roger Moore takes over back in 1973 with Live and Let Die. Huge, great film, very entertaining, a lot of fun.
Yeah. He's also popular because he's handsome.
Very, yeah. And he was also, he carried the Bond character very well.
He did, but not as equal to
Not as
Sean.
well. Connery was very intense.
Yes, and his accent.
Yes, exactly.
Scottish, so that was a plus.
Right, absolutely.
And so this is Clint Eastwood. Do you also like Clint Eastwood?
Well, I love this. This film I couldn't get tired enough. This is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh.
This is a classic Western. The image on this is just fantastic. The artwork. This is a French poster for it.
This looks like more modern.
Exactly. Now over here, if you look closely, you can see the little dots of the machine. Okay, you see the little rotograph, I believe that they call this. If you come over here, let's see if we can find a good example. Like here, if you look real closely, this is the limestone. This is the stone lithography. This is the limestone itself that they etch backwards, and you can see the difference in this. You can see it up here.
Interesting. Wow. So this is.
This is 1969 now, or
this
67,
one?
yeah, whatever it is. So obviously, and that's over there. That's 1917.
Wow, gosh.
So big difference in technology.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Can you imagine? So could you tell us like how much investment have you given on this big project of yours?
A lot.
A lot.
I'll just say a lot. It's a lot.
So did you think that you should sell or you should just collect, or eventually you needed to sell?
I've been collecting, and I think now I'm ready to start sharing because again, the point is that you chase this, and you it's the chase that's exciting. And then once you get it, you own it for a while, and then you get the feeling, okay, I'm ready to pass it on to a new owner.
So tell us about this one, The Power of Prayer. This seems like a
I have nothing to tell you.
Religious story.
This did not survive at all. I have no, you
have no idea
about the film. Yeah, there's very few films that were that old that.
But do you know what year?
Oh, this is easy in the early teens, because this is Universal. Universal did. This has to be between 1911 and 1914.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
I don't know it by heart. I know I can do an easy research and find out exactly what year it is, but I just know just by the studios and when they worked in Fort Lee, that's what,
So now there's no more memory of Victor Universal.
No, it's just Universal right now.
Yeah.
That's why we have Universal Studios and all that in Florida and everything else. But and obviously, this is Paramount and
the Seven
Paramount
Swans.
we still have, but
wow. Amazing. So which is the latest collection that you have? Do you know?
No, I don't, because I get so much. I usually every month I still buy one or two.
You still buy it today?
Yeah.
These days?
I know. I believe this is one of the latest acquisitions, simply because there was an auction and the owner was a major silent film collector that he decided to just liquidate his whole collection. So I managed to get this because this is Fort Lee.
The movie is called Checkers.
Obviously, it's a horse racing theme. I'd have to look it up and see the whole story behind it and what it is, because it is just not much has survived.
So who are the people who buy from
Actually,
you?
this is interesting.
This
Up
one,
there,
Herbert?
yeah. This
Brennan.
I got a while ago, and I just got it simply because of the
Look at
image, because of the Cossack, the royal family soldier,
Romanov,
and because of Rasputin in it. And the phenomenal thing that I realized later, I found out later, this was actually filmed in Fort Lee, between Fort Lee and Cliffside Park.
Oh my gosh.
And meanwhile, Ilyador, who worked for Rasputin, was actually here to work with them on the film.
On the story.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how, you realize all this later.
We are still able to see this?
I don't think
or no
survived.
More. The fall of the Romanovs.
So. Yeah.
Wow. You remember what year?
This is 1916, 17.
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
something like that.
Wow. And in Fort Lee.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, what got me is the Cossack. Love him in the red over there. That's great. And the royal officer over there for the Tsar.
Wow. And that was a tragic story. And I didn't know it was created here.
And Fall of the Romanovs done over here, and with Ilyador doing the commentary, you know, or helping out on the film, and
giving the information.
How to make it accurate.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Wow. And what about this Geraldine Farrar?
Geraldine Farrar was a great silent film star. This is, again, to me, this is just a film shot in Fort Lee, so I felt I need to own the paper for it.
At that time, would you know if doing movies was very lucrative and rewarding for actors and producers?
Hey, just like today, they lose a lot of money on certain ones and made a lot of money on others. That's basically what it comes down to. There was no you do the best you can, and sometimes it's a very pleasant surprise on how well you did. Well, now if you take a picture of that Traffic in Souls up there, that's a Universal's very early, and I believe that's 1912.
Wow.
That Universal was losing a lot of money, and actually that film, which is basically about white slavery, is what became a huge hit and made them a lot of, made them a profit, and could probably save the studios. Otherwise, Universal might have just gone under. You would have never.
So that's a successful film.
That was a big success for them. Yes.
Wow.
You know, and again, just because
Traffic in Souls.
The theme, well, it's about white slavery.
Tell us about this, George Probert.
Okay, all about the image
Nedra.
again. I mean, I wish I could tell you all about the history, but basically, this is. If you look at this and you think about what it is, this is a poster from 1915. You look at the images of the African American, the African image, the whole thing. You look at the racist view with the ring around the noses, the guys and everything. This is what attracted me to it. And Pathé did some work here. I don't believe this might be Fort Lee. I think I doubt it. But I just, again, it's all about the image.
So you haven't seen this movie anymore?
I don't think it exists. I'm 99% sure it doesn't exist. You gotta remember, a lot of these movies before 1920, they were very fragile. So they just dissolved in the can. They just literally dissolved. It's not like
an expiry date.
Well, it's just the plastic just dissolved. I mean, it's not like today.
You can preserve it.
When they preserve it, they're careful with it and all that. And also, you got 100,000 copies of everything. Back then, you did the reels. To make another reel of it, it was expensive. So you didn't. There wasn't many reels that existed, and few survived. So.
So tell us about this poster, Konstantin, Africa Speaks.
Okay, this poster I got several years ago. As soon as I saw it came out, there was a big auction going on from one of the major auction houses. As soon as I saw it in the catalog, I fell in love. Just love the image. I love the size of it. Brilliant color.
It is attractive.
I mean, the action is just amazing. You can almost hear and feel everything going on. You can imagine this in front of a theater. Being posted back in this is probably like very early 30s, 1932 or so, somewhere around there. And I just love it. And I said, I don't know, I want this poster. I got it. I was lucky to be the winning bidder. And I can just, to me, I had a feeling that one day there's going to be a football player or basketball, some great athlete that's going to walk in and say,
and buy it.
I want this. This is going to go in my basement.
Okay, nice.
It's just a great African thing. And then we continue on with the lines. Same thing here. This is called Highlights and Shadows. Again, it's just this.
This is no longer Fort Lee.
No, these are not done. Although this is in the teens, I believe this was it might have been filmed in California. or I know there was a professor that mentioned a little bit about this. This might have actually been filmed down in Africa. They might have actually gone there to film something like this.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see, but this is very early. This is in early teens. You know, the fact that the poster survived, you can see like here was recreated. You know, when you find this stuff, it's just in pieces. It's ridiculously fragile. But it's, you know, it's amazing that something like this survived. Again, it was never meant to survive through all this. Then we go over here. We're back to my westerns. Love my cowboys. There it is. The bandana, tough guy. I mean, the hero saving the girl from the cart going off the cliff. And I mean, the color is just brilliant, brilliant color. This is what I mean about the stone lithography. If you look close here, you can see the line, you know, the dots of the limestone in each different color being printed on there.
Amazing.
And then, of course, you have the famous 50s science fiction Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the third in a series of the films.
Wow.
But there he is again, you know, almost life size. Just a great image.
Where did you buy this?
This one I got from the guy in New York again. And this is going back to the very early 90s.
Okay.
So it's a long time that I've had this.
Wow.
And,
so these are still, there are a lot on this table.
Yeah, well, this is how typically is the easiest way to store them for me. You just pile one on top of the other, and this is how you have a lot of them that they don't take too much space. But yeah, look at her face. That's just beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
You know? And
what year was this?
This is, oh, give you right over there, 1959. On the lower right, they're always the years. And, you know, you've got Bogart. This is not one of his more famous films.
Tokyo Joe.
There he is, though, with the gun. And there she is. See, I love anything that's got a gun and a cigarette, because that seems to be the big taboo today. Right?
And before it was like your
back then, that was glamorous.
Yeah.
You need the gun and the cigarette.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody
like,
smoked.
Generation now, like, don't like it.
Exactly.
Things change, you know.
So yeah, and then we just well, I'll show you some more of what's under here. There's of course the Godfather poster.
Yeah, wow, that's a super classic.
Love the film, study the hell out of it, but this is not my favorite poster. This is the American one. This is the Australian one.
Wow.
I love this because it's got the different scenes from the movie.
Oh yeah.
So to me, this is much more interesting than the American one. It's very surrealistic. Just another Bogart piece. I mean, that's just, you know, great image of him. There's the original Die Hard. You know, I mean, this was, you talk about a movie making a lot of money. They never expected this to be the huge, incredible hit that it became. And,
Scarface
and
is
then
good.
There's Scarface, yeah, of course. You know, there's, you know, it's great image. I mean, it's
very
got
violent.
It's got a cult following. This is interesting. This is for the 1966 World Cup. It was actually a documentary that you figure in American films, soccer back in 1966 was, you know, you might as well be talking about badminton. Nobody, you know, nobody, soccer was nothing of what it is today. But, you know, that was, you know, this is a poster. It's actually, you can basically call it a documentary of the 1966 World Cup.
Right.
And
so amazing. There are a lot. This one last. What is this? This is so big.
This is another 6-sheet, and it's for well, I've got it covered over there, but it's Sonja Henie, which was a big skating star, and she became a big movie star. She just seemed to do a lot of ice skating in all her films. And
I see.
Yeah, and
so this isn't. Is this Fort Lee or no? No.
No. Well, I don't have anything that's down here that's Fort Lee. Anything that I have in here right now on Fort Lee is on the walls. Actually, I've got a couple of Fort Lee posters, but they're buried under.
I think this is the biggest.
This
right?
is the same as the 6 sheets that are there.
Okay, Vivian Martin.
Same size.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you can see, you know, the big images.
Sonja Henie. Wow. So then it wouldn't even fit my camera.
No, I know.
You have to, yeah, you have to make it so like raise the camera up.
Right.
Amazing. Can you imagine? Like, so they had very big limestones before? Or how do you do that? This huge? Or is this like being
Yes, exactly.
being
It came in, well, here,
quadrant? Like I see 1, 2, 3, 4.
in 4 pieces.
Yeah, or 6.
Because, well, this is a 6 sheet, but this is one, a double size. That's a double size, and then this is the regular 1 sheet and a 1 sheet. And that's it. And that's how they did all this.
This must be so expensive when you got it.
The poster, yes. Well, they're, even before this became discovered, like maybe back in the 1970s, you could probably pick these up, but who knew? Nobody knew anything.
Maybe there was like trash or garbage.
There were very few collectors. Oh yeah, you always hear stories about, oh God, when I was young and in 1970, we had to empty out the theater basement. There was dumpsters full of posters, and I just rolled my eyes and I said, "Oh my God, I can only imagine what was in there."
Yeah.
Dumpsters, posters. You always hear stories about that. Anybody that worked in a theater back in the 40s, I should say, in the 50s, in the 60s, even in the 70s, they just looked at it and said, "Well, it's an old poster. What are you going to do with it? It's nothing to do with it. The film's not there anymore. We're not showing the film. Go get a dumpster, throw it all out." And that's why it's some of these that survive. It's so incredibly rare, especially the silent ones.
Very nice.
They were never printed. Not as many were printed as later on in the years. Remember, back then there weren't as many. In 1920, there were nowhere near as many theaters as there were in 1940, and there were nowhere near as many theaters as there were in 1960.
Are you going to pass this on to your children if you have children?
No, I'm going to sell.
Okay, so what's your perspective in the intermediate about all this collection?
Now I'm just putting my website together and that kind of thing. So I think I'm just trying to make it known that this stuff exists, because that's the interesting thing. I got a lot of people that come in here and they say, "I never realized there was something like this." It's
beautiful,
fantastic.
amazing.
I said, "Yes, it is. Take your time. If you want something," I said, "do yourself a favor. Buy by image. See what you like. Put it on the wall."
It's beautiful.
As far as the investment goes, don't worry about it. It's an investment. It's like real estate. No more is being made. That's it.
I know. That's why it's expensive, because it's rare.
Right. And some of the more well-known, we talk about Charlie Chaplin or Casablanca or King Kong or Frankenstein. The classics like that they're going to be expensive, but they are an investment. I mean, it's like buying a penthouse in Manhattan. You're not going to lose money.
Right. Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Konstantin, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
This is a wonderful journey for me. I mean, walking through all this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Very lovely. And it's a gem here in Fort Lee. Thank you.